All right, guys, so as this crazy NFT bull run continues, I'm going to be sharing with you one of the strategies that I use to make fairly safe and consistent profits in this very, very high risk space. Now, before I get into the strategy itself, I just want to take a quick look at the insane figures on Opensea. So I think in my previous video, it was looking like January was going to be the biggest Opensea monthly volume ever. And that's kind of, look at this now, we're at 4.8 billion. Today is the last day of January 2022. So we're going to be pretty close to 5 billion in volume traded on Opensea. Now, how long do I expect this bull run to continue for? Well, I would say all the time that the crypto markets are going sideways, and that doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. So I think we've got a few months of this potentially. But as with any market, anything could happen. This could end tomorrow, and NFTs, many NFTs will long-term go to zero. So always keep that in mind. So January has been a huge month for NFTs, and we still have huge growth potential. I mean, if you look here, this is the number of active traders on Opensea. It's only just over 500,000 people. Now, there are just under 8 billion people in the world. Now, I'm not saying that is the growth potential because of that. There's probably maybe only a billion people that are economically viable to actually do this type of thing. But certainly 500,000 out of a billion is still a tiny, tiny percentage and a huge, huge opportunity for growth in this space. So yes, January's been big, but who knows how big these bars. I'd be very interested to come back at the start of 2023 and see what this chart looks like, whether there's some real big ones and a pullback and some more big ones. But anyway, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you the strategy that I've been using. Before I get to the strategy itself, I often tweet the NFTs that I jump into. So if you're not following me, follow me on Twitter at DarrenTheDegen. And actually the NFT that I'm going to be talking about in this video, which is what I use this strategy for, I think I tweeted about earlier in the month. Let's go back. Where are we? There we go. On the January the 17th, I tweeted that I picked up a Rengoku Legends NFT on Opensea for 0.145 Ethereum. Project looks very interesting, very unique, and high quality artwork. Public sale is tonight, but gas is quite low at the moment, so happy to pay a bit extra to avoid a gas war. So it's an important thing to keep in mind with this is this strategy gives you two buying opportunities. So let me give you the example. So this was the NFT that I bought and sold kind of a week or so later and made decent profits on. So these were called Rengoku Legends, but it could be any NFT that kind of fits this criteria and you judge to be the right fit for you and you like the artwork and the roadmap and utility all checks out. So this NFT I purchased on the 17th of January. Now, there's a couple of bars here of volume showing what actually happened. So I think there was a whitelist sale or a pre-sale on these 2 days. So that's why they were quite small bars. So I jumped in at this point. So I think around 2,000 of the NFTs were pre-sold and they sold out very quickly. And I knew that public sale was coming later in the day. But often with a public sale, there is a massive gas war, especially if it's on Ethereum. So it made sense for me to pay a little bit over the mint price to get in quite cheaply than getting involved at launch when gas prices can be insane and can be much more expensive overall than just buying it when gas is quiet and you're not actually buying at launch. So the first thing you want to look for is a project that has a decent sized whitelist or pre-sale that has a gap between pre-sale and launch. So sometimes projects might only have maybe 500 NFTs available in pre-sale. If that happens, often the floor price goes a lot higher than it really should be. But if there's been a few thousand in the pre-sale, that is normally a good indicator, especially if it's sold out and floor prices are obtainable for your own individual strategy. It's certainly something to look into. And then the gap between pre-sale and actually public launch needs to be reasonably decent. So sometimes people will have a pre-sale in the half hour before public sale, and you can't really take much data from that. Whereas if there's like 24 hours between them, that's quite a nice way to judge things. And if the floor price stays relatively close to the mint price, it can be a good time to jump in when gas fees are low. Now, that's the first part of this strategy, is actually finding a project that has a decent size pre-sale. If it doesn't have a pre-sale, you can still use this strategy, as the key component of the strategy is having a big gap between public launch and reveal. So when an NFT is minted, it may not immediately be available for you to see what NFT you've got. And sometimes it can be 4 or 5 days or even a week or two in some instances between the project being sold out and the NFTs actually being revealed. Now, quite often the reveal time will only be 24 to 48 hours, But if you can find ones longer than that, 3, 4, 5 days, this is when this strategy works really well. So if I talk you through this, so I jumped in on the 17th when the floor price was nice and low before public launch, but you can see public launch happened that day. That is why the volume went crazy. And the day following public launch, the volume is usually very high as well. And the floor price started to pick up. So the volume are the bars and the floor price is the purple line. But then we knew reveal was 5 days away. Now what happens is the hype dies down. So you can see the volume drops off and the floor price comes down a bit as well. So if you didn't get in at pre-sale here or between pre-sale and public mint, you can sometimes pick one up quite cheaply as well after public sale and the hype died down, providing there's a decent gap between the launch and the reveal. So you could jump in here and then you'll know when the release date is. So you can jump onto their website, Twitter, or into Discord and see when the reveal was going to be. So if you jumped in here, you knew that the reveal was going to be on the 22nd, or at least those were the initial plans. So you could have rode this floor price up. Now, this doesn't always happen, but if the project has good fundamentals, the artwork looks promising from what you've seen through the sneak peeks and on the website, quite often what will happen is after this initial hype, floor prices come down, usually a good chance to jump in. Then as we get close to reveal date, the prices pick back up. Now, I find the best time to sell is at least a few hours before the reveal. So don't sell just before reveal, sell a few hours before that, because quite often people will start to sell just before reveal and the floor price can cascade down quite quickly. Now, what actually happened in this instance was they delayed launch another few days. So I think it was supposed to, so not launch, reveal. It was supposed to reveal on the Friday, but instead revealed on the Monday. So floor price did come back down a bit, then pick back up for reveal. And then as soon as it was revealed, the floor price fell away. So I jumped in here at around, I think it's 0.145 and then sold at around 0.3 something. I've got an email here to say what I sold it at. Yeah, so you successfully sold at 0.385 and that was on the 25th of January. So if we go back to here, I jumped out here just before the public reveal and then prices fell away. Now, sometimes prices will go up, but often after public reveal, the prices will initially dump and then if it's a good project, they'll continue up. So for me, that was a good chance to get out. And I would always recommend people, if you're sticking with this strategy, that is the approach to take. Try not to think, what if I had a rare one? It could have been worth a lot more, because the whole idea behind this strategy is to play it safe. So one, you're getting out before the floor price has a chance to dump. But two, you're only investing in projects that have either completely sold out in pre-sale, a decent size pre-sale, or have completely sold out in pre-sale and public launch. With some of the other strategies that involve actually minting at launch, you don't know that project's going to fully sell out. And if that doesn't happen, if you don't fully sell out in a project, the floor price can go down very, very quickly. Whereas with this strategy, because a lot of the people that are owning these NFTs want to know what NFT they've got, they're going to play the lottery and see whether they got a rare one or not. The floor price is unlikely to come down that much, so your downside risk is limited compared to just minting one out the gate and hoping that the floor price is going to hold up. So that's why I think this strategy is quite good for newbies as well. It does limit their downside risk, providing you get in and out at the right time. So either get in between pre-sale and public sale when gas is low, providing pre-sale was sold out and there's a decent amount of NFTs sold in the pre-sale. If not, a day or two after the public sale, when the floor price has calmed down a bit, that could be a chance to jump in, providing that the reveal is a decent amount of time away. If it's the next day, sometimes it doesn't have a chance to happen. And a good example of this was an NFT I was looking at last week called My Homies in Dreamland. And you can see they had the public launch. The volumes were quite big the first couple of days. I started looking here on the 27th, so there was no pre-sale on this project. So I started looking on the 27th thinking maybe this could be a good one to jump into. But the reveal was the very next day. So we didn't have enough chance for that hype to die away and then pick back up. That's why floor prices didn't really kind of do the U-shape bottoming out that I shown you on the other chart. And then after reveal, the prices dropped off. So you want to make sure there's a good few days for this hype to die down and then pick back up for reveal. And that can be an easy way to usually double your money if you get the right projects. So that's the strategy that I've been using. If you're trying to find where I find these projects, initially I was just going through Rarity tools, so rarity.tools, go to the upcoming section, and then I always look at yesterday sales, because yesterday sales are projects that have either already sold out or they've had their pre-sale and the public sale is still to come. So look at yesterday sales and see what times are here. Go through these NFTs, see if there's any you like the look of, then do your own research. And I've released another video, which I'll link to at the end of this video, talking about how to find NFTs early. And you can apply that to these to see whether these projects are any good. The other place you can go, there are many sources you can go to. This is mainly focused on Ethereum NFTs. So there are other blockchains such as Solana, but I'm mainly focused on Ethereum NFTs at the moment. Another website you can use is called Trait Sniper. So go to app.traitsniper.com. And I use this in two ways. Firstly, to see which projects have sold out but are currently unrevealed. And then I'll need to go onto their individual websites or Twitter to see when the reveal dates are. So the good thing with here, you can see if there's any volume going on. So if we take this one at the moment, Monster 8 Club, you can see these guys are doing crazy volume, and the floor price is already up to 0.79 Ethereum, even though reveal hasn't taken place. So if we look at this on Opensea, this is a good example of a project that hasn't revealed, because you see all of the NFTs look the same. They're all placeholders. So what I'll do is I'd go onto their website or Twitter, find out when the reveal date is. Now, if you're new to the space, the chances are you're not going to want to go and spend the best part of 0.8 Ethereum on a project when you're new to the space. So I would probably say focus on the slightly cheaper ones, but certainly if someone's got a larger budget, this might be something you looked at to see whether you could make some money from this project. But go looking at the stats, it's certainly generating some good sales volume. But I would only get involved in this if the reveal was a good few days away, and the chances are this floor price would come down a bit in the meantime. If the reveal is today or tomorrow, it's unlikely this floor price is going to come down until post-launch, and there'll be a post-launch dump. Then we'll see what happens from there. So this site's good for this reason. You can actually see where it's revealed or not, and go through this list rather than going through rarity.tools and seeing what's released and one by one clicking through these. At least you know pretty much all of these they've sold out. You can see what sort of volume they're doing as well. So this is probably my go-to now rather than going to rarity.tools. The other thing that's good as well is if you do decide you want to get into a project, if it has revealed, so this is more really separate completely to this strategy. But if you want to jump into a project that has revealed and you really like the look of and you want to jump in, then this is the best tool, or one of the best tools, for choosing NFTs that are higher valued than they're currently listed for on Opensea. So if we take, for example, I'm going to use Girly's NFT, as this was an NFT that I jumped into over the weekend and of course tweeted about as well. I can't actually see it in the list there, so I'm just going to do a quick search for it. So just search for Girly's. And there we go. So you can see that's fully revealed now. And what you do is you can use the filters to see what NFTs are available on Opensea and try and find one as rare as possible. So what I usually do with this is sort it by price from lowest first. So you've got all of the lowest price there. And then I go onto the rank filter and I want to be ranked below 1500. So this is for like a 10,000 supply NFT. If it was a smaller supply, I'd reduce this number. And then I can click apply, and now I know that there is one there in the top 1,000 for just above the floor price. The floor price is 0.28. So you might decide, rather than buying the cheapest one on the floor, you can pick one up for a little bit more at 0.34 Ethereum. That's actually quite rare. Or if you really want to go higher, 0.4 for a 307 rank doesn't look like a bad deal at all. So rarity is something to take into account as you get more into NFTs. But if you're just doing the main strategy that I showed you earlier on the video, rarity doesn't matter at all, because you're holding an NFT and selling it before it gets revealed. So hopefully you guys have found that useful, seeing the strategy that I'm using at the moment. Like I said, if you want to see the NFTs that I'm jumping into in real time, follow me on Twitter at DarrenTheDegen. I'll always tweet out any NFT that I decide to buy. If you want to see more from me, of course, subscribe to the channel. If you found this video useful, hit the like button. And now what I'll do is I'll pop up two videos in front of me. One talking about how to assess an NFT, and another one talking about how to buy altcoins for the first time, because you need to buy some Ethereum if you want to buy some NFTs.